this. Hey, it's Metal Matthew coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to do an update on the Xim4. It's just in case you don't know, that you can see the first part of this. This is a interface that allows you to play keyboard and mouse on your console, whether it be your Xbox 360, your Xbox One, PS3, or PS4. Now I don't know if it's going to work with the newer versions of the Xbox and PlayStations. It should. So, like I said, I've had this for about 5 months, and when I first got it, I was very optimistic, right? Now, there are other versions of this type of interface that allows you to play with your keyboard and mouse on your console. There's one made by Hori, which I think it only works for PlayStation 4. There is a one, I believe it's called a Venom, and there's probably 2 or 3 other ones. I think they're as good as this. I think this is going to be your best option if you want to play keyboard and mouse on your console. Now, it's somewhere in the middle of the price. I think I bought this off of Amazon for about $125-ish, give or take. I think on the Xim site itself was cheaper. I default to Amazon, whether they're the cheapest or not. That's just what I default to. Briefly, I'm going to go over the equipment that I'm going to use. Now, while I don't have anything scientifically that says this is what this does, this is way more of a feel. How different does it feel? And it definitely does feel different, right? So for this screen, this is set up to my PS4, right? Now for the keyboard side of it, I'm using this Razer Tartarus Chroma, right? And then for the mouse, I'm using the Razer Hex, Razer Naga Hex, which I actually really don't suggest for this. The only reason why I bought it is because I was playing MMO games when I first got it and has all the side buttons, but it's very back heavy. So if you're gonna lift up a lot, it's not really for it. You're gonna, like for me, I can't really have a palm grip because my hands are too big. So maybe if you have a palm grip, it might be better for you, but for me, it's not. And I also need, obviously, the Xim itself and a wired controller, right? This has to be plugged in your Xim at all times, otherwise it won't work. And now as for the PC side of it, I have a Razer Blackwidow and a Razer Deathadder. Yeah, I know all my products are Razer. I like Razer. They're maybe not be the best, they might not be the worst, but that's just what I like. So, as you can see, I got this is the PC version of it. Now this monitor needs to be updated, but it'll give you a good general idea of the difference between them. The Xim is a good interface if you already have a console, you're used to keyboard and mouse, and you don't like playing with the controller, maybe you feel it gives you better accuracy, whatever. It's a very good option. Like I said, it's not cheap. It's about $120-ish, give or take, when you buy it from where. But like I said, I think it's by far the best of the options if you're going that route. With a simple app, both on Android and Apple. Let me bring this back up. You're going to use the Xim Manager. Load all your games. Look for new games. If you come in here, you find a new game that you're going to play. You know, there's a whole bunch of everything on here. You pick the game, come on, and the system, you're at 4, and it'll download the profile, and every time you switch, you're going to have to go to where it says load and load up that profile, right? So what makes the Xim nice is the fact that you can adjust everything on the fly. Now, whenever I use anything on here, whether it be fire or alternate fire in this case, or jump or something, it'll show up on the screen of what it's actually doing. You know, even if I do movement, you know, it'll tell you the different movements, everything I do on here. Now, if all of a sudden I say, hey, I don't want this button over here to be jump anymore. I want jump to be, let's say, on the mouse, right? So you can come in here to where your edit button is, and you're gonna go down to buttons, and you find your desired button you want to change. You're going to go to, in this case, I'm going to change the jump, right? So I hit that, and now it goes from, now it's into the listening mode, right? So now whatever button I press next is what's going to be, in this case, the jump. So I'll push middle mouse button, and I'll change to mouse middle. I don't know if you can see it or not, it might be a little bit hard. But now whenever I hit my middle mouse button, he jumps up now. Now if I didn't like that, I can hit the button again. Now it goes from listening, and I hit the desired button, and it goes to spacebar, right? So that's that. That's what makes it really nice, right? You can do all your editing on the fly, even as far as your mouse sensitivity. And now whenever you start up a game and load up a new game on here, it'll say set your vertical and horizontal sensitivity in game to 100%. So as you can see, 100% and 100%. In a game, whether it be Call of Duty, Battlefield, in this case Overwatch, it'll tell you set vertical and horizontal to 100%, and then use the app to change sensitivity. Like I said, Android or Apple, they have versions for both devices. One of the biggest flaws I have with this, well, the price, first of all. You can get a good SCUF controller for probably around the same price, and probably get as good, if not better, results depending on what you're used to. But as you can see how this is slightly dimming in and out of colors, right? If I move this one to the side, all right, this is the mouse I'm using for right now. Now see how as I move the mouse, the colors go from a breathing pattern, a green, a blue, I think a yellow in there. As soon as I move, well, if I move it smooth like this, nothing happens. But once I start moving it too fast, what happens is it starts blinking red, which means it's out of its acceleration that it's going to accept. I think every game is going to have an acceleration on Xim. It's going to say after you reach a certain acceleration, it says, I don't recognize that. With that being said, if you're trying to want to do a 360, right? So if I started out here and I go around, let's see, until this way, nice and smooth, and it's not missing anything, right? So how far did I actually travel? Yeah, it's kind of a rudiment way to do it, but it works, right? About 12.5 inches. All right. Now, that's if I do it nice and smooth. Now, if I try to whip it around, I'm already way past the 12.5 inches, and I only turned 90% of the way, right? So that's one of the biggest flaws I have. If you whip around a lot, you're going to miss a frame. Now, if you're nice and consistent, now it might be missing some frames here and there, but it's nice and smooth. Well, it's smoother, right? But it won't take anything zippy, right? Yeah, I know it's not an official word, but compared to on the PC, it's very snappy, right? So boom, boom. Yeah, my accuracy isn't that great, but it doesn't feel like it's missing anything. That's one of the biggest gripes I have with the Xim, right? Just the fact that it loses accuracy if you're all over the place, if you accelerate too fast. Now, I think that's something you can definitely get used to, but you got to keep that in mind. If you're used to playing on the PC and you're just boom, boom, zipping all around, you're going to have a learning curve, and it's going to be slightly, like I said, it's going to be a learning curve for you, and you're going to have to figure out, you can't just go zipping around all over the place. You have to have more controlled movement on it. So what else? That's one of the biggest gripes I have. Like I said, the price, the fact that it'll lose accuracy the faster you accelerate your mouse, which is a downside depending on what type of games you play. That could be an automatic no buy. You know, if you're zippy around and that's what you're used to, and you come to this, that, you know, it's something you're gonna have to get used to. You're gonna have to have more controlled movement, which in the long run might actually make you a better player when you go back to PC. The other issue I have with this is if you're using, let's say, a PlayStation controller and you're using the audio from your controller into your headphones or headset, whatever you're using, once you plug that into the Xim, it will disable this. You can't use it anymore. What you would have to do is use some type of USB headphone or an adapter for it. Now, I personally use one of these, which is a Sentley headset, which I think was only like $35. It's not bad. And it already has the USB port to it. Now, obviously, you can use whatever you want. You just may have to buy a converter for it. A 3.5 millimeter to USB. They're like $5 on Amazon, someplace like that. Now, as far as keyboard and mouse, or the keyboard aspect of it, I think it makes zero difference. Now, yeah, I do have slightly more expensive equipment on here. You don't need a membrane keyboard. It works just as fine. But if you have like a $5-10 keyboard, I say use it. There's no reason to upgrade. Use what you have. If you have the extra money, go ahead and buy something new. But like I said, the keyboard side of it makes no difference. There's no noticeable lag between either, you know, like I said, if you had a membrane, you had a mechanical keyboard, none of that really, I don't think that's going to make a difference. It's going to be your mouse. Now, I also noticed that on the Xim side of it, you want as low a sensitivity as you can. Right now, I have this mouse set to 1200. I know a lot of those play in the 800 range, give or take. Some of them go up to 1600, but that's pretty much the max I've seen. So the lower you can get, the better. That way you're not missing things. I found currently, like I said, at 800, I couldn't spin around as quick. And then I did play with the accuracy in the app. And on this one, I think I have this set to 1000. I think this is still too fast, and I'm still trying to wean it down some to get the ideal for me, right? If you're going to compare, you know, PC to the console, yeah, it's hands down, the PC controls are so much better. I noticed that within the first minutes of playing on a computer, right? Now, this system is not the greatest by any means, right? I have a pre-built Asus. It only has an i5 4460S, so it's not that great. It had, and I just purchased one of these. Now, this is a GTX 1060. And yeah, I could have gone a little bit cheaper, or definitely I could get a lot more expensive. But this allows me to play PC version in ultra settings at, what am I at, 160 frames per second. Definitely worth the purchase, right? I missed this by a couple days. I could have got this a lot cheaper. I had this in there. Do not buy this ever for anybody, not even as a prank. It's a GT, not X. This is a GT 730. This is not for gaming, plain and simple. Whenever I load up anything, it would pretty much say you don't have the specs for it, or you don't meet the minimum requirements. Don't buy this. You can buy, you know, either the RX card, you know, the 480, 470, 460. Don't buy that. Now, like I said, if you already have a console and you want to play on keyboard and mouse, this by far is the best option for it. Like I said, it has its flaws, but definitely I think it's better than your other options if you know you definitely want to go keyboard and mouse. Another issue, another point of note is you can, even though you're still using your keyboard and mouse, you can still use the controller just as fine, and it works just as fine. So there's not even a reason to unplug it. So if you're playing a game that is better suited for a gamepad, just leave everything plugged in and then just use this as need be, you know. I've read people say that this is cheating, this is total advantage over people who use pads. I don't think that's true. Just like if you had a fight stick, are you that much better than a player playing on a pad like that, or you know, whatever? I think not. You know, it's, if you're buying this, you're comfortable with a keyboard and mouse. So why make yourself uncomfortable playing a game and not have a fun experience? Then, you know, buying this, yeah, it's, like I said, it's a little bit of money. But if that's what you're used to, like I said, I think this is by far the best option. You just really have to learn to control your movement. If you control your movement, you're still gonna get some lag on here, but I think it's very manageable compared to the controller. You know, like I said, if you want to play with a controller, that's fine, but if you're looking for a keyboard and mouse option, I think this is definitely the place to go. It'd be great once it drops, you know, $50, then that would be like almost a no-brainer, but according to where it's at, you know, it's not for everybody. So I think that's about it. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to write them down in the comment section below. And also put everything on here, what I'm using, in the description, where you can buy in Amazon or Newegg links, wherever it's possible. And like I said, if you learned something, you have questions, you have comments, feel free to write them. I'll respond as best as I can and as soon as I can. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.